Could the Washington Commanders be targeting running back Dalvin Cook in NFL free agency? Also, there's another major development on the Hard Knocks front when it comes to the Washington Commanders, and ESPN has named a surprise standout candidate for your Commanders here in 2023. Going to be covering these topics and more on today's edition of the Commanders Report. What's good, Commanders fans? I am your host, Jack Sperry, and this is the Commanders Report. Now, before we get into today's Commanders news and rumors, go ahead and click that subscribe button for me today to join the family and help us get to 5,000 subscribers before week one of the 2023 campaign. If we get there, my bosses are telling me we can have a couple of live watch parties here on the Commanders Report. So if you want those live watch parties during Commanders games here during 2023, click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss any of our free content here on YouTube. All right, now let's start with Dalvin Cook, where the Commanders have been linked to a couple of different running backs here over the course of the last couple of weeks. It looks like they want to add another tailback here to their lineup, and why not go after a guy like Dalvin Cook, who has been a former Pro Bowler in this league, had 8 touchdowns last season with an average yards per carry of 4.4 yards, and then, that is a dip from the last couple of years, 4.7 in 2021 and 5.1 in 2022. But I still think Dalvin could absolutely be a number one running back in this league for the right price. Right now, the Commanders have Brian Robinson, who last year was drafted out of the University of Alabama, going into his second year now. Had a very solid rookie season, and he's a very solid running back. Picks the right lanes consistently in the run game. He's very tough. He gets those short yard situations accomplished, which I really like, but he's not a dynamic talent. He's not going to hit those home runs that Dalvin Cook has hit throughout the entirety of his career. And after Andrew Norwell passes a physical, the Commanders will be cutting him, and after they do so, they're going to have about $13.82 million in available cap space for the 2023 season, which should be more than enough to get a guy like Dalvin Cook under contract, as long as he's not asking for something ridiculous, north of $10 million per season. I think Dalvin's probably going to take a one-year prove-it deal to show that he can still be a number one dynamic running back in this league, and I would expect it maybe be like somewhere in the $8 to $10 million range, and that's something the Commanders can absolutely afford. And if they want to add some juice, if they want to add some spice to this backfield here, Dalvin Cook could definitely do that for you, and they should absolutely consider giving Dalvin Cook's agent a ring. So would you sign running back Dalvin Cook in NFL free agency before the start of training camp here on July 25th? Type S if you would sign him, or type P if you're going to pass on him. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Do me a favor and find that pinned comment here when that ad break hits and answer today's question. All right, now let's talk a little bit about Kareem Hunt, who has been linked to the Washington Commanders for about a week now because of his connection to offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. Now the big question is, will a deal get done? Because this is starting to get some legs, and it's looking like this might actually happen for the Washington Commanders in the coming days. Now, Kareem Hunt's story here is that he started off his career fantastically with offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy as his offensive coordinator there with the Kansas City Chiefs. 4.8 yards per carry, very good number there. 25 touchdowns in 27 games played, which is almost a touchdown per game. That is an excellent figure from Kareem Hunt, but then everything kind of unraveled there during the 2018 season when a video was released of him attacking a woman in a hotel back in 2018. The Kansas City Chiefs then released him, and then the Cleveland Browns then picked him up for the next 4 years, and his numbers with Cleveland were pretty decent. As a number 2 running back, Kareem Hunt was one of the best options in terms of that role in the National Football League, right? Last year definitely took a dip in his yards per carry number there with 3.8 when it was previously 4.9. Just 3 touchdowns last year, so it definitely seems like the NFL community is a little bit lower on him, but he's also a really great receiving back, so that's something that these numbers here on screen aren't telling you. And I think that there's definitely an argument that you should sign Kareem Hunt over a guy like Dalvin Cook because he's going to be much cheaper, right? Kareem Hunt has been a number 2 running back over the last several years, and then Dalvin Cook has been a premier number 1 guy over the last several years, so I think Hunt would cost significantly less than Cook would on the open market. And then Hunt has experience in Eric Bieniemy's offense that does a lot of duo, that does a lot of inside zone. He's very experienced with this sort of stuff, and he's had a lot of success in this type of offense before, whereas Dalvin Cook has played more of like a wide zone offense with Kevin O'Connell, and then all the way going back to like Kevin Stefanski and the various amounts of West Coast offensive coordinators the Vikings had under head coach Mike Zimmer. So let me know, which guy would you rather have in a Commanders uniform here in 2023? If you'd rather have Dalvin Cook, type DC for me down in the comment section. Or if you'd rather have Kareem Hunt, go ahead, type KH down there in the comments. All right, so now there's another major development on the Hard Knocks front when it comes to the Washington Commanders. We did a video last week detailing why HBO may choose the Washington Commanders to be on the show this year. But there's a report that came out just yesterday that the New York Jets are now gearing up to be featured on this year's program during training camp. Okay, so I think that's probably the easy choice for HBO. The Jets have said time and time again they don't want HBO's cameras there during training camp. They're trying to make a push for a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers coming in to be their quarterback this year, but they don't necessarily have a choice. The NFL can enforce their will on the Jets because they do meet Hard Knocks' requirements. But there's also more to this report, which is that the Commanders could be in line to be the in-season version of the show for 2023. Of course, the Colts were featured back in 2021, and the Cardinals were featured last season in 2022, and both of those seasons kind of ended in a very negative way for both teams. So is it really a good thing for the Commanders to be rumored to be a part of the in-season version of the show? You know, people are playing to cameras. It's a distraction for the players in such a crucial season for head coach Ron Rivera. Is this really something that he wants in the nation's capital when he tries to get this team back to the postseason for the first time since 2020? I'm not too sure, but I think that it would be the other way around here. I would think that the Commanders would, or that the NFL, HBO, they would want the Commanders on the preseason version because, you know, Josh Harris is coming in with the new ownership group. It's a shorter time frame. I think they'd rather have that as opposed to the Jets, who would be a very interesting topic for the in-season version. But with new ownership likely coming in here over the next couple of weeks with Josh Harris and his bevy of minority ownership stakes coming in and that transition period coming this season, I just think that no matter what, HBO is going to choose the Commanders for either the training camp or the in-season version. I don't think the Commanders are going to be able to escape Hard Knocks' cameras this year, whether it be preseason or during the regular season this year, just because it's a very unique opportunity. How often does HBO have the opportunity to see a transaction like this and show that to the public? It just doesn't happen very often, which is why I think that's what will end up happening here for the 2023 season, whether it be before or after. So coming up here, ESPN has listed a surprise standout candidate for your Washington Commanders in 2023. But before I reveal who that is, if you want to be repping the Washington Commanders at your 4th of July cookout, you can grab this awesome 4th of July special edition t-shirt on the Chat Sports website right now at chatsports.com/CommandersUSA. If you want to be wearing this shirt while you're cooking up those burgers, those hot dogs, while everyone is playing by the sprinkler there on 4th of July, this is an absolutely awesome shirt to get for yourself during the 4th of July here. So go to chatsports.com/CommandersUSA to get your hands on this shirt right now. All right, so now let's talk about Khaleke Hudson, who ESPN has named as the surprise standout for the Washington Commanders in 2023. The former Michigan Wolverine is somebody that's been a special teams ace throughout his career. That's why he's been able to stay on the Commanders roster throughout his career. But he hasn't played a whole lot in terms of defense, playing on the field, not special teams. Now, he did get an opportunity to play late in the season last year, got 11 tackles, which is a good number there for just playing in one game, essentially. And Hudson is somebody that has been a standout during OTAs and minicamp to this point in the offseason program. Now, you have Jamin Davis, you got Cody Barton, you have David Mayo, right? You've got these guys that have played in the National Football League before, but I think that Khaleke Hudson's got the athleticism and he's got the instincts. He's a good tackler. This is why he's a really good player on special teams, where if he gets the coverage aspect of the game down, I could absolutely see him moving up past Cody Barton at some point this season and proving that he should be a starter on this Commanders defense. But at least for the start of the year, I would expect the new signee, Cody Barton, formerly with the Seattle Seahawks, is going to get the nod, at least for week 1. Now, injuries happen, poor play happens, all these different variables come into play as the season moves on. I think Hudson, given the way that he has played during the offseason program to this point, will get his shot to prove that he could be a starter for this team moving forward. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with Khaleke Hudson here in 2023. So that's going to be it for, well, that's not it for today's show, but go ahead and give us a like and to click that thumbs up icon if you enjoy the content here on the Commanders Report. Really do appreciate all the support, and it's a free and easy way to help us out here at the Commanders Report. All right, so before I go, I do have some bad news in terms of the Commanders, where former Redskins running back Alfred Morris has been hospitalized with a really rare condition here, where apparently he's had some muscle damage, and because of this muscle damage, it's got into his bloodstream and it's affecting his heart and his kidneys. So right now he's being hospitalized for that. So we're really sending our prayers and our thoughts to Alfred and his family. Of course, Alfred is an all-time, well, maybe not an all-time great, but he's definitely provided some great moments for Commanders fans all over the world. So if you want to wish him the best and his family the best here during this tough time, go ahead and type 46, his number, down in the comment section to send some positive energy his way. Really do appreciate all the support, guys. I will see you guys later. And as always, hail to the Commanders.